Charlie's swing was all over the place. In comparison to Tiger's, they slowed down and broke down. However, with something respect, there's a difference in the air. He does really have the Woods name. Indeed, every shot he makes is infused with the expectations. However, neither legacy nor genetics had a role in this performance or victory. It was about composure under pressure, accuracy, and execution. Things you don't teach and definitely don't pretend to have. The youngster made more than just birdies. He managed to keep some of the top young golfers off the course. That in and of itself changes the subject. This was no longer background noise. The headline said this. Since it had no other option, the golf community took note. People stop scrolling as a youngster with that last name emerges from the shadows and defeats a field of murderers using just steel nerves and skilled shooting. They begin to observe. Charlie Woods was more than simply Tiger's kid after that. The narrative was about him. After Charlie Woods' AJA triumph, the professional golf community quickly began to voice their opinions. And they weren't speaking in courteous, restrained tones when they did. It was authentic. It had a point. It was also rather noisy. When Tiger Woods' kid accomplishes anything exceptional, you anticipate some commotion. However, this went beyond rehashed compliments or media chit-chat. These were major winners, tour veterans, and a true testament to a child who, until recently, was only known for wandering the fairways with his father. Someone who spent a lot of time with the Woods family, Justin Thomas, wasn't sugarcoating things. After a round of his own, he told reporters, he's tough mentally and has a great tempo. He comprehends the game, not simply plays it. It's not common. That type of support means something to a player who has faced the greatest and seen what real competitive fire looks like. Furthermore, Thomas isn't the kind to provide praise for the sake of the cameras. Even though he was often restrained in his appreciation, Rory Meroy was straightforward. Not only a name. In an interview on the Golf Channel, he claimed to know how to compete. The tone changed from one of inquiry to one of respect. The novelty of Tiger's kid competing in events was no longer the main focus. Charlie's status as a serious contender in his own right was at issue. That difference is significant. It's what transforms news stories into enduring expectations. Even Jordan Spy recognized something while thinking back on his own formative years. He said during the PNC tournament, "He reminds me of myself when I was a teenager." The confidence, the focus, it's not forced, it's natural. That contrast, coming from a guy who was a sensation on the PGA Tour before he was even allowed to hire a vehicle, is revealing and not at all light-hearted. These weren't spontaneous remarks or sound bites from the media used for clickbait. These were candid responses from athletes who understand what greatness looks like and, more significantly, what it's like to be in its presence. What these experts say had actual weight in a world where excitement can be created quickly. Because you know Charlie Woods isn't just being observed when characters like Thomas, Emroy, and Spieth begin speaking in such a manner. They're measuring him. On paper, a 6 under 66 seems remarkable. However, Charlie Woods' journey there caused the golf world to pause its activities. This wasn't a front and flank or a hot streak. It was patient, calculating, and sometimes quite frigid. The kind of round you would anticipate from a Sunday grind by an experienced tour player. Not a teenager who is burdened by the Woods name. He wasn't receiving fortuitous bounces or shooting miraculous shots. He was putting together clever golf holes one after the other as if he had done it 1,000 times. Those last 9 holes were very remarkable. For children his age, it is often when the pressure starts. Every tee shot begins to seem like a challenge as the leaderboard becomes tighter and the cameras begin to follow. Charlie, however, didn't blink. It wasn't only clutch to make 3 birdies on the back, including a dart on 16 that gave him a tap-in. It was thus brutal. There was just a clear strategy and complete dedication to every shot. Neither panic nor overreaction. He didn't seem to be pursuing a victory to those who were carefully observing. He seemed to be aware that it was already his. One of the first professionals to notice was Max Homa. The same day, he went on Twitter to compliment Charlie's elegance and pace, especially highlighting his swing's balance and his mature club choice. It wasn't just kind words coming from a man who has established a reputation for hitting the ball and being self-aware. From one tech to another, it was a tip of the hat. However, Charlie's low round wasn't the only thing that shocked folks. It was the appearance of smoothness. Pure, repetitive, confident golf was played without any feeling of overexertion, wide-eyed intensity, or shaky putts from downtown. It's the kind of round where you lose sight of the fact that you're watching a child until the scorecard brings you back to earth. Potential transforms into something different in situations like these. Polish. And everyone witnessed just that on that day. A preview of what's to come, not a look at what may be. Charlie Woods lived in the shadow of the greatest name in sports history for many years. It was unavoidable. The headlines were all the same, cameras were zoomed in, and comparisons were loaded from the moment he first teed it up in public. The son of Tiger. Through the prism of legacy, every swing, fist pump, and look was examined. However, something has changed recently. The topic of his father's identity is no longer being discussed. It's about Charlie's transformation and how quickly he's getting there. Fans and the media have always been tempted to call him a little Tiger. Charlie doesn't play like Tiger, however, as anybody who has truly seen him will tell you. He doesn't even make an effort. His swing isn't exactly the same. He has a calmer, more collected manner. Additionally, he already demonstrates a maturity in his course management that is more self-made than inherited. The subtlety of his strategy has been noted by coaches from Golf Channel broadcasts. The manner in which he designs shots according to circumstances rather than ego. He has no intention of becoming the next big thing. His goal is to win golf competitions. Analysts on Golf.com have gone one step farther and expressed what others have been speculating about. Charlie Woods is developing a new persona that is self-contained. The competitive fire, the murderous instinct, and the Woods DNA are still there, but they are encased in a more calculated and collected exterior. The Flash isn't aiming for popular videos, but he is there when he needs him. He's aiming for awards. The experts are finally recognizing it, that the 15-time Major Champions kid isn't the only one they're seeing. They see a genuine danger. Someone who jumped right into the limelight with a game that demands attention, avoiding the unpleasant learning curve. Even though Charlie Woods will always go by the moniker, Tiger is no longer the topic of discussion. It's about the child who is standing next to him crafting his own narrative and making everyone listen. Now when Charlie Woods teases it, the vibe is different. It goes beyond just seeing a well-known last name go through the motions. It involves seeing someone knock on the door of the next level and perhaps preparing to knock it down. For the remainder of the field, what was formerly thought to be a long-term endeavor is now abruptly turning into a short-term issue. And you sense it gently and silently, but at last it did. Charlie Woods has just delivered a loud message to the whole golf world after spending years growing up in the shadow of the greatest golfer of all time. He entered the AJGA Team TaylorMade Invitational at the age of 6, rated 604th, scarcely a blip on the radar, and emerged victorious, leaving a trail of shocked top-ranked amateurs who never saw it coming. The figures are honest: 15 under par, a final round score of 66, 8 birdies, and a 3-stroke victory against some of the nation's top young golfers. Charlie didn't get by on a fluke round or a fortuitous bounce. He was in charge. The child who was before merely referred to as Tiger's son made sure that everyone was aware of his name. Don't be misled. This wasn't your typical junior competition. This was the top field at the AJGA. There were athletes like Miles Russell, who is now the country's top junior. Charlie outperformed them rather than just defeating them. He seemed to fit in throughout every swing, every hole, and every stressful moment of that last round at Streamong Resort. No, disregard it. He seemed to be the owner. The timing is what adds to the surrealness of this. Tiger Woods is still recuperating from his injuries and fading away from the competitive limelight, but his son just turned the tide and dominated the leaderboard. Suddenly, arrival is more important than legacy. Now, this is the query that everyone is posing. Did we just watch the next chapter in golf history begin live at the age of 16? Or was this merely a standout performance? There's no denying that the world of golf has become far more fascinating. And you're certainly watching Charlie Woods now, if you weren't before. Charlie Woods has been more of a curiosity than a candidate for years. The son of a legend, he was first seen by the public at the PNC Championship standing next to Tiger Woods, imitating his father's swing and mannerisms exactly. He did not hold a trophy. Every golf enthusiast could see the composure, the swing, the potential, and the lineage. However, when you're continually compared to the most legendary person in sports history, potential only goes so far. Charlie carried more than just his own luggage. The weight of his name was greater than that of any award. There was constant pressure. The headlines appeared each time he teed it up.